Hi, this is a second part video in which today we're going to be discussing map data. So we're going to get to know the website a little bit, how to get there, how to see map scores. So the first slide, I want to point out that how I got to the scores in the beginning. Obviously, go to DESE.mo.gov. This will be on your home page. You can access it a couple of ways, and I want to point out that's something DESE is really good about, that there's no one right way to access data. You can find it in several different locations and several different paths to get there. So you can either go to school data. In this instance, I have circled also administrators. You can go to the MSDC portal. Obviously, I am not under a secure login, so I can go to the public data. That's about the only thing that I'm going to be able to go to. And state assessment is where I would go. Or you could click on the MSDC portal, which is generally what I do. And so that takes us to the next slide. We are now in the MCDS portal. And I want to point out that you'll see icons and you'll see tabs, and they both are going to take you to the same place. I'm generally an icon person. So today we are going to be looking at state assessment. You can get there through both of these tabs. Both Quick Facts and Guided Inquiry have a drop down for state assessment, as well as the rest of the icons that you see here. The accountability will be in the next video talking about the APR. So let's go then to see what Quick Facts first. Quick Facts, state assessment. This screen is going to come up, so you will see state assessment. You can also obviously reach it over here on the left-hand side. So you will see that here is district content area, all and disaggregated. So you're going to see those subgroups in this data that you pull. Here is the PDF file for it. On the bottom tab, you will see the historical state assessment. So going back in time if you want to see progress or plot progress. So, but we're going to stick with the first one, the district content area, all and disaggregated, and see what that looks like. So when I select here, it takes me to this screen. It is an Excel screen. What's so great about this is that you can pull your own data out as well as others. You can look at other districts. You can compare yourself to other districts to see what they're doing. I always like doing that because if I notice that a district their scores were really high, I would call them and say, hey, I just noticed that your ELA scores were extremely high. What kind of processes do you have in place? What programs do you have in place? Are you a PLC school? I would try to get to the bottom as to why their scores were what they were. So, and because I obviously want to replicate that. I think it's very important in public schools that we share together, that we help each other, because those students that they have in that district probably one day might end up in your district, and we need to work together for all students. So helping each other, don't reinvent the wheel, share. So you see here that you see the subgroup populations here on the left-hand side. I'm looking at Academy Lafayette right here that goes down to about line all the way down. But these are all the subgroups for this academy. Here's ELA, here's math, here's science. And then you will follow down. It's all 2015 year. The accountable and the reportable, meaning how many students total they have that should be taking the assessment, how many did. And then you will notice that there is below basic, basic, proficient, and advanced, both the number and the percent. The top two, typically when we do presentations, especially board presentations, a lot of times we don't break it down so much as to below basic, basic, proficient, and advanced. Their scores, a lot of times we just do what are our top two levels. So advanced and proficient. That's why you see that here, the top two, the number, and the top two, the percentage on this slide. Next, I went back to Quick Facts, and so you can see here I want to go and show, I believe the next slide is going to be the PDF version of this, total by content area right here. So this is a PDF that I can pull if I need to put that in my file, that I could have quick reference to without seeing that big Excel spreadsheet. And now going back, I'm going to guided inquiry, state assessment. This is the screen that's going to come up with achievement level, the 4 levels, basic, below basic, proficient, and advanced. And then you're going to see there are 3 different reports here basically. There is a chart format that will just give you a like a graph of what the scores are. Then there's the actual report itself that you can pull numbers. And then this is the historical one in the middle, and the bottom one is 2015. In a couple months, hopefully sooner, we will have 2016 data in. Some school districts may have some of that back already. If it isn't back already, it will be soon. And probably if it is back, you're in the midst of some heavy discussions in the district. The second section is the historical AYP. That's our annual yearly progress for federal accountability. So we are going to look again at going to the public. We're going to look at the public chart. So back here, I'm on this line, achievement level 4 chart, public. So this is what's going to come up. And you can track anywhere you are by seeing right here in the, I guess, the address, the map guideline here. So home, guided inquiry, state assessment, achievement level 4, chart, public. So each of these drop downs, this first drop down here where I have Academy Lafayette, list all districts, both charter and public, in alphabetical order. So you will go down and find your district there. Next, I have selected 2015 school year. You will notice something. I have a Mac, so sometimes, and because I do Chrome on my Mac, sometimes that plays havoc with some of the reports about how to maneuver around. Sometimes I have to keep selecting view report before it will actually try to go to the next tab to select. But I do know that after you select every drop down button, it'll take a while to load, and then you can move to the next section, the next section, the next section, and the final section. So there is a gap. You just can't select all these at once and hit view report. It has to take time to load. So don't be confused by that. Content area, you can select all content area or specific like ELA. You can, on summary level, you can do state, you can do district, you can do and in this case, it does say district. I know I can put Academy Lafayette on there because sometimes, you can drill down on that. Category gives you the subgroups. I usually just do total if I'm trying to get the high overview, and you can do all grade levels or specific grade levels. Hit view report. And this is all grade levels. You notice here, all grade levels, all content area. So this is what will come up. This is something that boards would maybe want to see in something like this format. It doesn't have to be you recreating it in an Excel file or any type of Google file. You can use DESE's file, save that as a PDF. And then I want to point out a couple things here. This is one I did for all grade levels and just ELA. So, and this is, make sure you look to make sure there isn't more than one page that you need to look at. This, as I told you before, typically we're only looking at the top two, proficient and advanced. And if you look here, this, of course, is the different grade levels that we selected here. It's all ELA, but this is third grade ELA, fourth grade, and you go across then to ELA English 1. One of their, or however many students took the English 1 exam. But here are the grade levels. This was the end of course. On the bottom, it's if you look, they did put a sort of warning in there. Assessment results for 2015 in the content area of ELA and math for grades 3 to 8, and the end of course EOC assessments in English 2 designated by E2 and Algebra 1 designated A1 are not comparable to prior year data. This is the first year for the assessment aligned to the new standards. So what DESE is saying, it would be like comparing apples to oranges. There wasn't a lot of change in the standards. If you just wanted to compare that yourself, you could, but DESE said that it isn't a valid comparison because there were two different sets of standards. And now we're getting ready to go to another set of standards. So you are in the process of revising your curriculum. You can save and print these files that you see. And you go to the little button, it looks like an old floppy disk. You hit the down arrow. See, not many people knew that that was an old floppy disk because we haven't seen that in a while. But you hit this down arrow. This is the drop down menu that will appear. You can see you can pull this file into an Excel file, a CSV. Not too many people are going to do a CSV unless you are a tech or unless the tech department is getting it for you. You're inserting it because you're getting ready to manipulate data, isolate data, pull different data, and then in that case you could do a CSV file. But mostly you are going to use an Excel. You could do that XML file, a PDF, or a Word document. And I'll tell you the difference between the PDF and the Word, the benefits of that. So if you see here, I have, I believe on the next one, I did do a Word document file. This is what it looks like. This is actually a picture on a Word document. So I can go back into this document and add to it. So a little bit easier than I could if it were a PDF file. I can write on this document, not on the picture specifically, unless I was adding a text box overlay or if I had the capability to write in a PDF format, which I don't have that software on my Mac. But you can, as I said, you can either do it in Word or in PDF. Next, I want to tell you a little bit about, well, I can access all these reports, but what do some of them mean? So I have gone back to the home screen, the DESE home screen, administrators. Under Learning Services, you will see Assessment. If you select that tab, it will take you to the assessment page. Under the College and Career Readiness, you will see the LEA Guide to Missouri Assessment Program 2015-2016. There is also other information on this page that you can go to. So if you look down, here is the LEA Guide to the Missouri Assessment Program that I identified over here on the right side. I selected that. Here's what comes up at the bottom of the page. I scroll down and you will see Reporting and Grade Level Guide to Interpreting Results. So I highlighted that for you so you could see how to get there. And what document will come up is this, Missouri Assessment Program Grade Level Assessments Guide to Interpreting Results. And now going back to the screen, I wanted to show you what also is on that screen, and that will be in a separate video. And that is the APR. That is a huge part of what's coming up now and what we're going to look at for data purposes. But if you go to Quick Facts Accountability, here is the APR MSIP 5 State Accountability. Basically, this is the box you will work in, not this one so much on the bottom, which is the historical AYP. But we will be working in this section. If you go to the Guided Inquiry Accountability, then you will see MSIP 5 Annual Performance Report, the APR. So this is where you can get the most current or historical, on the second line, most current or historical APR reports. So that finishes, again, the 10-cent tour of maneuvering DESE as far as MAP. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.